Before I start jabbering away and start talking, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. I appreciate you for clicking on the video, for taking time away from your day to commune in truth, at least as far as this one's concerned. That's all I can speak on is what this one has experienced and from this one's perspective. So I appreciate you and, for sharing your aura, sharing your essence, sharing your time, sharing your energy. It's a beautiful thing to commune in holy company. Wherever we are right now, we're standing on holy ground. Wherever we happen to be, you're right where you need to be. You're perfect and complete. Of course, there might be some things that you desire. That's what we're going to speak on. To change. And that's okay. Got to start someplace. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Not to sound cliche. Anyway. Desire. So it's important to recognize the distinction, the recognition of the distinction between selfish indulgence, selling our life essence into the pleasure matrix, and a heart desire. And the difference is intention, because actually, in reality, in the 5 sensory experience that we call worldly, results are consequent to intention. Results are the consequence of intention. Ultimately, every single decision affects our energy, affects our polarity. Whether we're gravitating towards the earth or we're ascending towards the sky. I want to think in terms of energy. And as far as personal desires are concerned, generally they're associated with polarizing our energy. We could say to the lower self, as opposed to our higher self, which starts with the heart, and that's the difference. Our heart desires are of pure intention. We could say, come from a deeper part of the mind. And your heart desire, you already have it. You already are it. It wouldn't show up unless it was already manifest. Now, it may not appear to be so in the physical plane, but just to have a desire, to, you could say, be aware of a desire on the metaphysical plane is to already have it, to be that state. Now, I say this because for a while I didn't necessarily have the healthiest relationship with desire. I had a lot of negative programming and conflicting beliefs, and there was that predicament of desiring not to desire. I shouldn't be desiring. And a lot of hypotheticals and a lot of mental programming that I had to sort through and process and deprogram myself, let go, and allow that to work itself out in order to develop a healthy relationship with desire, so that the desires are more from a space of love and the space of the heart rather than personal and self-serving desires. We could call that purification of the mind, a spiritual process, which is essentially a deep, reflective, contemplative lifestyle by which one really simply allows themselves to be aware of the phenomena happening around them without trying to control it, but also within them. To kind of observe the mind, the witness, the loving witness from a detached position. Not necessarily identifying with the thought process, but simply taking a step back in silence and observing it. As they arise, let them fall away. As they arise, let them fall away. Understand that you're the awareness. You're the simple, pure, unblemished awareness. That pure silence which can be witnessed within, even amidst a busy city center. Even amidst a noisy room. Even amidst chaos. That silence within you is a space where you're protected. You can rest your awareness in that and not be affected by anything of this world because it's transcendent to it. Now, that's not to say that it's better than it or it's not a part of it, not intimately connected with it in a heartfelt, deep, whole way. But it is to say that, looping back, to desire something in your heart is to have it right now. Every desire that comes into your heart must be satisfied. Now, that's a healthy relationship with desire. As the cars drive by, as I meditate on the sky, simultaneously focused both ends of the spectrum, aware of the toes and connecting with that earth energy, imagining the energy reaching down into the earth, deeply rooted from the feet, and at the same time simultaneously aware of the crown. The whole body. So, intention is really, I found, is the deciding factor, really. Because, as I was saying, that deeper part of yourself knows. You can't fool it. You can play a lot of mental games and go back and forth and try to trick yourself. I've done that. A lot of rationalizations, justifications, but ultimately there's no way around that deeper part of yourself. And say you're sitting in meditation and characteristically you have a very busy and active mind, a restless mind. Not saying you personally, just as an example. Some people have this issue, and I know I did at one point. And even while you're sitting there, and it seems to be chaos, the body wants to get up, it doesn't want to sit there, the mind's like, I want this, that, the other thing. Simply the intention of sitting yourself down and allowing that to sort through itself. The deeper part of you knows that and will respond to it. Give it time. Give it patience. The biggest hindrance to the spiritual process is impatience. That's but it's beneficial to be in that state of simple allowance, allowing, not forcing, not trying to control, surrendering to this life process that we're a part of. And there's always a deeper surrender. You can always go deeper and deeper. You can always let go a little more. I certainly have a lot more to let go of. Now that's kind of ironic, right? A lot more to let go of. No spiritually mature person is going to consider themselves adequate or spiritually mature or finished or complete. Now, of course, there's always that inner sense of completion, of wholeness. But at the same time, somebody who, has a little bit of humility, of course, they can't claim it because it's not an emotion. There's nobody to claim it. But you could say a humble person realizes that there's always, deeper levels. You could say higher levels of consciousness and always room to evolve and grow as a person. Not only as a person, but, another side of personhood, personage. We can be aware of ourselves to the point where every single move, every little movements of the body and of the mind is a conscious process. And it's not taxing, psychologically taxing, or you're not forcing yourself to be conscious. It's just automatic. And it's very freeing to be in that space because your whole life becomes a meditation. Meditation is not necessarily a this and you're a that, because when we place life in a certain context, when we recontextualize our piece of life, that which we are, and how we navigate the world and witness our subjective experience, we can realize that really all of life is a meditation. That's a beautiful recontextualization, to devote one's whole life to the realization of divinity in every single activity, every single action. Whatever you're doing, it's doing you. It's expressing through you, and you're communing with that presence and allowing it to do its will through you as you surrender the personal will and allow divine will to act through you. I assure you, there's all states of consciousness where we can be simply an instrument to channel the unseen forces will for a better world, for the upliftment of humanity. Now, that's not to say that this already isn't a perfect world, because it is now. It really needs no changing. But at the same time, there's so many forces at play and so many things we may not realize that's, not even just on this planet. Again, context is significant. There is sentient life on other planets. And the energy that we embody, even if all of humanity were to be eradicated at this moment, at this instant, that energy would still persist. It would live on. Life is eternal. Having your hands with your palms facing up, going back to meditation, is helpful. Redirecting the energy upward. Just, you'll notice too, if you're sitting down intentionally in meditation, where your intention becomes your attention, you'll notice that when your hands are facing the ground, breath is slightly more rapid. Whereas when you flip your palms facing upward, the breath kind of slows down a little bit, and you can experiment. One hand down, one hand up, and just notice the different subtleties in the energy body, in the breath, in the movement of the body, in your inner cosmos. To turn your attention inward, imagine rolling your eyes in the back of your head, and your eyes, instead of looking outward, do the 180 degree shift and look inward. And imagine your skeleton. Wow. Imagine all the organs. Focus your attention, your intention. The holy temple that you are. The holy ground that you stand on. This is not a religious sermon. This is a way of relating to the world, to being with it, to being in tune with it. A sense of sacredness, a sense of sacredness for all life. And, some of us may not feel that, but we can choose a different thought process to orient ourselves in a way that's more harmonious, in a way that's more joyous. You can say that happiness is a choice. The power of choice. The power to be conscious, to be alive, to be the loving witness, to be at ease, to simply witness the cars driving by, not affecting the inner silence, because it remains unscratched. Nothing can disturb it. There's no distractions. There can't be any distractions in meditation. That's the difference between concentration and meditation. Concentration is exclusive. It excludes. It's concentrating on one thing at the exclusion of other things. Whereas meditation is all-inclusive. Meditation's really grooving with life, with all of life. Hence, that's why I said we can recontextualize life to be meditation, to be all-inclusive. No sense of separation. And at the same time, you have the capacity to recognize the nuanced distinctions, such as the difference between selling our energy, our life essence, into the pleasure matrix and embodying that to the fullest. So that we can realize our heart desires. And let me remind you that to desire something is to have it. You are it right now. You don't need to seek it. Actually, it's seeking you. By virtue of desiring it, that desire that comes into your heart, actually, it came into you. So it's seeking you. And you already have it. It's already manifest. As in the Bible, it says, creation is finished. It's already here now. Just the fact that you're aware of it means that it's here. Now, it just needs to be incarnate. And hence, there's no room for doubts. If a silly thought comes up that seems to be a hindrance, you just observe it, let it go, and bring your attention back to what you know to be true, which is it's already here. You're already complete. And the difference also is with heart desires, there's a detachment from the outcome. It's not something you have to try to forcibly control. Trying to forcibly control outcomes. No, it's simply an allowing the process to unfold and trusting the process. Having faith in life. Faith is really I could say an act of surrender. No, it's not really an act because it's a wholehearted let go. There's nobody to act. There's no separate doer.